All right, so we're gonna start a new something. Um, I may end up switching the podcast release days to Wednesday, because I had a friend of mine who talked me into doing what I did last week for the WrestleMania 41 and my thoughts on it all and what I think should have been done different and things like that. And he goes, you should do like each thing as it goes. And I went, all right, I guess I could do that. Um, so this will be the beginning of me just throwing up videos talking about Raw, SmackDown, whatever pay per views. I know they call it premium live events or PLEs, but I'm used to calling them pay per views. So don't get mad that I still call them pay per views because that's what they always were when I was watching before. So it's whatever. But the April 28th version of Raw started off with Seth coming out and talking about how he's the new future and um, there we go, just barely. That way they can't yell at me because I'm gonna go through and go a piece at a time. Uh, Rollins, please don't ever wear those glasses again. Those were some of the most hideous goddamn things I've ever seen in my life. And while I did enjoy and I was kind of right when I said the reason why Braun Breaker ended up dropping the IC title is so that he can move on to other things. And the fact that he just went from the IC title straight to, oh, this is one of the three top guys that were playing in the main event. Now I'm side by side with them. Um, I'm I'm perfectly okay with this. Um, so I was happy to see Breaker starting to get that real big push and Rollins kind of going, I'm literally going to take you under my wing and get you up there. So let's go. Um, do I think it was wise to pull Sami Zayn into it all? No, but at the same time, I kind of understand that with KO going out, um, which sucked because I liked Kevin Owens. I don't care what people said about him being pretty much an entire heel for too damn long, or whatever. I'm going, but he's good at it. You know, he's really good at it. So just let him run with it. And he's a heel in such a fashion to where it's it's borderline Stone Cold. Just like I don't consider CM Punk a face or a heel. He's like borderline Stone Cold to where you can tap dance across those lines as needed, and the fans love you either way. I think that Kevin Owens and CM Punk are the two that are absolutely at that point to where they're not a face, they're not a heel, they're an anti-hero, kind of like a Deadpool Wolverine kind of thing. Um, so pulling Sami Zayn into it, I thought was kind of goofy, um, but it was okay. I think they could have done something a little different, but I do like seeing that they're trying to do something with Sammy and how Sammy's basically in the same shoes as Jey Uso going, well, where's my title run? That's what I want now. Um, so let's let me get my title because that's the one thing that I've wanted since I got here that I haven't gotten, and that's what I want. So I'm hoping that's how it ends up going, but we'll see. Um, then it was Roxanne Perez against Rhea Ripley. Um, love both of them. They were both great. Um, I think people really underestimate just how much of a great competitor and I'm going to call it a teammate because when you're in a singles match, or even when you're in a match period, you do have to be part of a team and you do have to work with each other to sell things. And she does a really good job at doing it. But she could also take control of the fight, and it doesn't seem off-putting. I think that's a skill that needs to be really cultivated more in a lot of performers now. So, like, even Dolph Ziggler was one of the best sellers of all time. Um, I don't care about Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and their sometimes oversellings of things. Um, Dolph Ziggler was the best. Um, you get that right clothesline or that right drop kick, and he just hits the mat, and he looks like he just died. His whole body goes limp perfectly. And it was always a shame that they never really gave him the push that he needed and kept him in relevancy. Um, I think a lot of that's going to go back to, the whole Vince McMahon and how he ran shit. But Rhea does really well selling. So does Liv Morgan. Most of the other women that wrestle don't really do a good job of selling the moves and having the matches look better. Like, there's been plenty of times where you can have a situation where like the women will go for a punch and it doesn't look like they're hitting it all. Like, well, they're doing elbows and going, they're doing like forearms. Like, it looks bad. Or when they try to go up against the ropes and them shits don't even bend. I'm going, what is happening? But then there's others that really kind of dig into it, and those are the ones that I usually get behind. If you got women that can actually make it look like a legit good fight is going on, that those are the ones I get behind. And right now, the top of the game is Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, and Chelsea Green, and they did my girl Chelsea wrong, having her drop her U.S. title. Maybe she's getting some time off or something. I don't know, but it was dirty. But anyway, the match with Roxanna and Rhea was a good match. It was nice to see Io come out to Rhea's aid whenever Julia came in and cost Rhea the match and started fighting her. And then Io came out just like last week when it was reversed. Rhea came out whenever Io was being double teamed. So it's nice to see that the rivalry they had, it has slowly been being squished down to the point to where there's mutual respect, because the build up to WrestleMania 41, where they were just face washing her between Rhea and Bianca, was just absurd, and I couldn't stand it. So I was glad when she retained. But yeah, slowly going through and getting to the next little bit. I don't remember who it was. I want to say it was probably Santi on TikTok talking about Logan Paul and going, "Can we just stop talking about he's an influencer and all that? He's been in the company for a few years now, so he's just another dude. So can just take that aspect and throw it out the window and be done with it. He's just another wrestler." And I agree. So his whole promo about how he's trying to go after Jay now makes me real curious if they're going to really start giving him a serious run for it. I don't think Jay's going to drop the belt anytime soon, but it is interesting that he's kind of meddling in shit with it all. It was nice to see Karrion Kross for a little bit tonight too, even if it was for like a minute or two. But having Jay come out and go off on Logan was great. And it was really kind of cool. There was a kid right at ringside that had a sign that said "Yeet for Cancer," and you could tell that they had been going through chemo. And on his way out, Jay made sure to go over and give that kid a hug. And the kid and the dad were just like, "Oh my God, oh Jay, you were awesome." So like that kid's a Jey Uso fan for life. So that was awesome. I really enjoyed that. Then it was War Raiders versus Judgment Day, and it was nice seeing JD McDonough back. But I gotta say, man, is it just me or who activated big head mode on JD McDonough? The dude's head is just disproportionately larger than the rest of his body, and it's weird looking. But that gnarly hit that he took back in, I think it was January, when um he did a moonsault off the second rope out to the outside towards the announce table, and you see his neck and back whiplash, and it was later said that his seventh rib punctured his lung, and he had a concussion from it. So, like that hit was gnarly. They showed it for a few weeks, and when he came back last Monday, the Monday after WrestleMania, I was happy to see him back. I'm going, dude has my respect because he punctured a lung and fucked up his ribs and was still finishing the match in the spots. I props to him. It just sucks you're in kind of a shit stable. More of the Sami Zayn stuff. And then Becky comes out, shoots her promo. I gotta be honest, I think I fell asleep during this part. So I was pretty tired. Let's see, is there a way that I can do this under like free use things? Can I? You're really not gonna show it? Well, that sucks. Hold on, I'll have to mute my headphones so I can listen to this because I don't remember this happening. I like there was times where I was just kind of falling asleep, so just still have a killer headache. All right, now she's finally got a mic. That kid still got that yeet for cancer sign up. Like, you already got yeeted. All right, what do you got to say, Becky? The man's here, okay. Okay. Bayley was tragically taken out. So, playing off the whole Naomi thing, saying, no, I did it. We don't need to make it a mystery and drag it out. But Becky's going full heel. So 6 long years. Damn. Doing Bayley dirty. So I'm wondering if this is to try and get Lyra a little bit more legitimacy because she hasn't really had much. And the fact that you have the first women's IC title and the first women's US title not be on the line at WrestleMania, and then the next day, Chelsea Green drops it, and now Lyra's being in a position to where I guess they're trying to lift the relevancy of the IC title to match the men's IC title, which is the step before you start going for the actual men and women's titles. I wonder if that's what's going on. Now you sound whiny. Ditch that bitch. So now she's blaming Lyra for her being a loser. That's why they lost the tag titles. Because she wouldn't have won without Bayley. I'm like, okay. All right, Lyra, let's do some mic work. Let's see what you got, girl. She's getting up to the ring. Okay. Always got to get that city pop in. Oh, shit. Bringing up NXT shit. And that heel pop going off on the city you're in. IC title at Backlash. There's some thick ass soles on them boots, Lyra. Jesus Christ. Them things like that thick. Lyra, you got a skirt on, honey. Or is it one of those, like, skirt shorts? I think it's a skirt short thing. But I'm going, it looks like a skirt, so you probably shouldn't. All right. it's nice to see Lyra trying to get some relevancy again. I think she has sorely needed it. On the Stephanie Vaquer versus Ivy Nile. The, the fact that Vaquer is pulling like double duties on Raw and NXT for 2 straight weeks, it's definitely going to start getting over with the fans a hell of a lot faster. But she's already loved and adored. And I do got to respect that she had said that she wasn't going to come up to the main roster until she got better at her English. So she was fine just staying in NXT for now and trying to work on that part. So it's only a matter of time before she comes over to the main roster and just is going nuts. Then the Pat McAfee promo. I was all for it, man. I really liked how he was cutting it, but in the back of my head, I was going, are you really getting ready to pull for a match? Like, so it's going to be Pat McAfee versus Gunther at Backlash. And I'm going, bruh. That's like all those times I threw fucking Michael Cole into a goddamn Royal Rumble. I'm like, just stop with this shit. But I will give it to him for the promo alone. It was a good promo. A real good promo. Logan Jumpin' Jay was eh. And then finishing off the night with the Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker, and then the ref calling the match and Seth curb stomping him into the mat. I'm like, where are you going with this? Because it seems like you kind of give Sami Zayn a push and then he disappears, so it peters out, and then you give him a push and then he disappears and it peters out. So like, at what point are you gonna knock this shit off? I also think that we need to cut down on the here's what you missed segments, because you could squeeze in a whole nother match if you just shrink them shits down to like a minute tops. But sometimes I swear those go on for about 3 or 4 minutes. I'm going, bro, can we move on? There's a reason why I like waiting until after it's already halfway over before I start watching. So I just start skipping some of this stupid shit. I don't know. So I'd say April 28th was okay for Raw. It wasn't great. I am curious to see what ends up happening with this. Seth Rollins kind of created a different bloodline. The fact that Sami Zayn called it out, and I'm going, yeah. You got to remember that the Shield became a thing when Punk was a Paul Heyman guy, and that brought you in, and then Punk disappeared, and you're like, all right, well, fuck it, we're gonna go on our own. Ambrose leaves the company. Roman Reigns was forcefully pushed, and the audience rejected him. And then Rollins just slowly kept sliding up, in the shadows, and now you've got pretty much the exact same thing of you have your attack dog, which that's what you were for the Hounds of Justice. And so you're just literally repeating it all over again. And that's why Sam was going, do you realize that the people that you have hated the entire time all have one thing in common, and that's that dude over your shoulder. And you can tell that, like, story-wise, that kind of hit hard for Seth, but I think that's probably why he ended up stopping Sammy. But is this the beginning of a Sammy push, or is this just sort of like at SmackDown when Aleister Black came back and just kind of beat the everything shit out of Miz, and that was the end of it, and you're just there just to be a bridge piece to something else? So I'm interested to see where that ends up. But yeah, can we get onto the Wyatt Six already? I've been waiting for that for 6 months now. Let's go, man. You know, Uncle Howdy's not back yet. Who gives a shit? He can come back later. All reports from WrestleMania is saying that they're waiting for him to be healthy and ring ready, and then they're gonna bring the Wyatt Six back out again. But then apparently Alexa Bliss is gonna take over it, and I'm going. Then why are you waiting for Uncle Howdy? Just start now. He can get worked in for it, and then they can be like king and queen of that shit. You know, just I don't know. I always get tired of there's all these segments that happen, and then you end up kind of going, well, now what in the hell are we doing with this? Now what the hell are you doing with that? And why is this not doing anything now? Like what the hell's going on? Like work an angle and work it until it evolves into something else, or till it peters out because no one really gives a damn anymore. So I don't know. That's my 2 cents on this week's version of Raw. And I think what I'll do is, well, every other Friday is going to be rough to try and get a SmackDown one out by Saturday, because I still have to watch it. But do D&D every other Friday, so like, how am I supposed to watch it at like 3 o'clock in the morning until 6, and then do a fucking video on it? And so I don't know. Maybe these will be afternoon videos. I think that'd be okay. But yeah, we'll have every so often a Monday from the pay-per-view the night before, and then Tuesdays will be for Raw. Wednesdays will probably be for my podcast ones, even though it's going to double up because I'm like, well, meh. Because I would like to kind of keep going with this because it's fun and it's entertaining, and that's all that I really ask for. And then Saturdays I'll try to have it be afternoon. That way, you know, when I have D&D the night before that runs till 2-3 in the morning, I get some sleep, I get a chance to watch it, and then get it out, you know, mid to late afternoon, which is usually way later than what normal things should be, because usually it's like, get it out as quickly as possible. And I get it, but I wouldn't be able to do that every Friday, and I don't want to have an off-kilter schedule kind of thing. So, yeah, it'll be 2 videos today, and then the podcast ones will get pushed to Wednesday starting next week on the 7th. And then this normal Tuesday at 10 spot will be for the Raw the night before. So, yeah, that's all I got. Have a great one. See you Saturday.